Okay, so I know you read the title, and before we get into this video, guys, please stay civil in the comments. This is just my opinion, and if other people share the same opinion, that's okay. If you have a different opinion and think this game absolutely sucks, that's okay as well. Just please be civil, don't be too hateful. Right now, I'm in the middle of a mission called Take Me to Church. After I finish up this mission, though, I'm gonna stay away from doing story stuff. We'll just do some side quests just so then there's no spoilers for anybody that may be interested in trying this game. To be honest, though, I'm just gonna say this right now. Spoilers aren't really something you should be worrying about with this game because the way that I see this game, it's sort of like a disconnected TV show. A lot of the game is kind of like self-contained in the missions. Like, from what I can see, I'm only a few hours into the game so far, but each mission, or at least each set of missions, are pretty self-contained, and there's not like a whole lot of story. It's more based around the gameplay and the goofy stuff going on. Like, sure, there's some story, sure, there's some dialogue, but that's not really like the core focus. Which kind of segues quite nicely into one of the biggest complaints about this game so far, and it's the fact that there's not really a general, overarching, sensible plot besides you and your friends need to pay your rent, you're trying to build like a giant criminal empire and da-da-da, get money. That's the thing with this game. If you come into this kind of expecting things that you would have seen in other Saints Row games where there's like one core villain or one core plot, you're not really going to get that. Now, do I blame anybody for going into a video game story and expecting an overarching plot or a sensible plot? No, I don't blame them, because that's what I look for as well. But with this one, you gotta kind of have like a different mindset, I guess. It's sort of like Valhalla, Assassin's Creed, where it's one of them things where it's not necessarily a game you have to binge the whole way through in order to keep up with it. Like, you can kind of do in Valhalla, like, one region at a time, treat it like a TV episode. Maybe one region a week, take a break, come back the next so you don't get burned out. That's kind of like the same thing that I'm seeing here, sort of. Don't get me wrong, this is nothing like Valhalla. This game is nowhere near as long or as tedious. That's just kind of the way that I look at this game, because a lot of people have complained about how tedious it could be and saying that a lot of the missions are the same. So if you feel that you're getting burned out after not playing it for too long, but you still want to see it through to the end, maybe just take the Valhalla approach, where you only tackle a little bit at a time, just so it stays fun and refreshing without getting all burnt out on it, especially if you're an overachiever and like to go do all the side content, because in that case, I'll give it to the people that rack on this game. The side content's very repetitive. Now, when it comes to the humor of this game, I will say humor is a very, very subjective thing, and different people will find different things funny. In this game, it's not necessarily my cup of tea with the humor. I mean, some of it lands and some of it doesn't for me, but, I mean, I don't know. There's nothing that's outright, like, cringeworthy, like, gagging just from hearing it. Like, some stuff, yeah, it's a little, that didn't exactly land, but I don't think it's as bad as people are saying that it is, because, I mean, it's not that bad. Another thing that personally isn't bothering me, but a lot of people complain about, is the clunkiness of the game, or saying that it feels clunky. For me, it kind of just feels like any other Saints Row. I mean, Saints Row has always kind of been clunky, like with the shooting and stuff. It's never exactly felt the most solid. Sure, I can definitely agree this one is the least solid out of all of them, and it definitely feels more clunky than games that even came out like 9 years ago in terms of the Saints Row franchise, which obviously doesn't make sense. It should feel smoother, but I have a bit of a feeling that maybe their studio's like a lot smaller than it used to be. Because even when you're looking at this game, you're looking at the animation and just the overall quality of it. I don't know, something about this just kind of screams smaller studio to me. Anybody want to see what my guy looks like? This is it right here, just basic hoodie, got some skater shoes and a blue shirt, some shades and a beanie. I kept it real simple. One thing I want everybody to take away from this video, this isn't the second coming of Cyberpunk, okay? It's not that bad. Some people are honestly making it seem that bad, but it's really not as bad as that. Sure, it's not the greatest thing in the world in terms of, like, the bugs. Like, it's not the most polished that it could be, but it's definitely no Cyber. That being said, there definitely is technical difficulties and things that should have been ironed out before the game's launch, like certain bugs. Like, earlier, I haven't had any game-breaking bugs yet, and they haven't happened too often, but I have, like, had 2 or 3. There's this mission towards the beginning where you need to hook up to a trailer or a giant crate or something like that and carry it around, tow it around the town, and whenever I tried to hook up to it, the hook, for some reason, messed with the collision, and, like, it just broke the physics of it, and it shot, like, 200 feet up in the air, and then landed and, like, crushed my buggy, so that was a little weird, but it wasn't game-breaking. Like, I didn't fail over it, still finished the mission first try. And there was just a few other times where, like, animations kind of glitched out, or a few other things glitched out, but again, it was only, like, a couple of times, and it really was not game-breaking, so I don't know. Again, I'm not that far into the game either, so it could be that the first half of the game isn't as bad and later on it gets worse. I'm not discrediting anybody that has said that. It is entirely possible. So just keep that in mind as we go on with this review, because it's possible I haven't seen the worst of it yet, and it's possible that it may get worse. And if that is the case, I will make a follow-up video on this once I complete it. I'm going to be binging this for the rest of today and tomorrow. Probably going to knock it out by the end of tomorrow, honestly. With how long I heard the story is, it's not that long, and I tend to binge games pretty quick. So once I finish it, if I feel like things have gotten worse, I'll bring a more in-depth review if I feel like I need to kind of touch up on some things I said and not give the wrong impression of this game if it really is bad. So far, the way I see it, I went into this game with middle-of-the-road expectations, honestly, because I know how mixed things can be for Saints Row. Like, Saints Row 3 and 4, I really loved. Saints Row 1 and 2, I never even played 1. 2, I got about halfway through, but unfortunately, I never ended up beating it, because the one thing that really annoyed me with that game was how you had to do side quests in order to get access to the main missions, if you know what I'm talking about. It was just kind of annoying. That was a turnoff for me. And Gat Out of Hell really wasn't it. That whole game literally just was side quests, so I really didn't like that one either. Like, as you're seeing in the gameplay, yeah, the third-person shooting isn't exactly, like, the greatest in the world, but it also isn't the worst. Like, it functions. And, like, if I'm gonna compare it to anything, at least it feels better than Bethesda games in their shooting, because their shooting is freaking terrible. If I can compare it to anything, I'd compare it to, like, one of those 7th gen Xbox 360, PS3 third-person shooters. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the ones that we were getting around that time. Maybe wondering why I'm running and gunning like it's a serious Sam or Doom game right now, and that is because, unfortunately, there's no cover system in this game. But I don't think Saints Row ever had a cover system, so it's not like a feature that's missing per se. And honestly, this game really wouldn't work the best with that kind of system anyway, so I just end up running and gunning. So I guess since this is a reboot, does the other characters not exist in this universe then?
We call ourselves the Saints.
Mic drop moment. That's the issue with reviewing this game, man. Like, there's a lot of positives I can throw in its direction, or things that can kind of boost it up to show that it's really not that bad, but there's also like a lot of not so great things I could say against it, so it's really weird, man. I'm kind of conflicted on this one, but all in all, I'm enjoying the game so far. Like, at this point in the game, I haven't had too bad of an experience. So if I were to finish it today, per se, get to the credits, and the experience stays the way that it is right now, I can truthfully say it's a good game, in my subjective opinion. If you disagree, that's okay. But for me, it's a good game so far. Personally, I haven't been too bothered with another huge complaint people have had about the open world feeling a little dull, because all the Saints Row games have kind of always had a dull world. I mean, sure, this one, like, okay, so here's a technical glitch right here. You see the lighting flicker? Oh, wow, now that you can kind of see it right there. Like, when I start moving, the light starts flickering. Like, there's small technical problems like that throughout the game. But everybody's been saying that this world feels overly dull, and like I said, the original Saints Row games, they've always felt a little more dull and not as full of life as GTA games. Sure, just looking at this one, it's definitely a bit more dead than the other ones, but personally, I don't really care about that. I'm the type of guy to just hop in and go through the main mission, so honestly, the less cars and people in the way, the better. Again, going back to something I said earlier in the video, though, don't take internet reviews as the end-all be-all. Like, if there's a game you've been hyped for, which personally, ever since this was revealed like 2 or 3 years ago, I've been beyond hyped for this game. I've been anticipating this game so freaking much. So if you're like that, or if you're just looking for a fun game to kick back and play that you don't have to take too seriously, or a story that you have to get super engrossed in, just have some fun characters that can sometimes be annoying, but sometimes kind of charming, then I'd say this is a good one. Like, there's some good moments to be had, like that one moment where you get fired from the marshals, and your main character's, like, struggling to get out of bed, and can't even make a waffle in the toaster, because he's, like, so depressed, and the toaster doesn't even work. Like, I love that, okay? Like, that kind of got me. Now, is it worth the $60 price tag? Again, that's another subjective thing. I would just say, if you're anticipating this game, go ahead and pick it up. If this is a game you've been excited for, I would say, just from what I've played, yeah, go ahead and pick it up. But if it's something you're not too sure on, and you kind of think you want to give it some more time for the devs to work out the bugs, then wait for a sale. That's that. You guys let me know how you feel in the comments. Again, please stay civil. I've been trying to stress that throughout this video. I don't want to be the host of a war in the comment section, so please be nice. As always, a shout out to the Patrons, Karma's favorite mod, and Low Booty Tap. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you guys back here tomorrow at 7. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Stay beautiful and have an amazing day. Peace.